Hey there, everybody. How you strangers doing today? Tom Funk coming to you from Abu Dhabi. I know it's been about a month or so since we last checked in. Not much has happened, but one really big thing did happen. I'll tell you all about it here in a second. But first, enjoy my friend Adam Main's music. He is providing us the lead-in and the bumper music for the podcast. So, thank you, Adam. And you can check him out on Spotify, Amazon, all that good stuff. Adam Main. All right, October 8th. What's going on in your life right now? Well, me, not much going on. Not, anything too exciting. However, the one big thing that did happen that was pretty monumental and has consumed my time for the past week, I finally contracted the COVID. So I was excessively sneezing at work last week, and folks started to question if I should go home sick. So I made a wager that if I go get tested and I tested negative, they'd all owe me lunch. So I go down, I get tested. Guess what? I popped a positive test. So my first concern was Nathaniel, and I thought for sure he'd have it because we've been roommates since beginning of the month. And since if you test positive here, you're required to get another PCR test within 24 hours. The next day, I hoofed it with him to the testing center where he tested negative, and I tested positive again. The only real symptom I was experiencing was fatigue, and I had been fatigued for several weeks as I pulled a tendon and hurt my arm pretty bad, and I've been having a hard time sleeping, so I've been tired during the day, so I just chalked up the fatigue to that. And other than that, just I'm sneezing a little more than I usually do, and if you guys know me real well, I sneeze a lot. That was pretty much the symptoms. Thankfully, the government here in the UAE changed the rules of engagement, if you will, just 2 weeks ago regarding COVID and all the rules and everything. The biggest change was no more masks outside of public transit, places of worship, or medical facilities. The other change was isolating with COVID. They were requiring you 10 days, and they bumped that down to 5 days. And you could go back to work if you showed no symptoms after 5 days. So pretty much everything else is still in place here regarding COVID. They either didn't change it at all or parameters were reduced. For example, we need to be tested every 30 days now versus 15 days, and I think they were even at 7 days for a while. And you only have to show your vaccine passport, which we call the Al Hassan, and it's a phone app. You only need to show that Al Hassan vaccine passport to enter tourist attractions and large venues. It used to be everywhere you went, even public transit, you had to show your Al Hassan. And that was voluntary. If you didn't get PCR tested and you weren't vaccinated, it was a real hassle getting into places. So it was kind of a reward if you got your tested regularly. You could go shopping and things like that. So one rule that is still in place that directly affected me is that if you're over 50 years of age and you test positive for COVID, you have to go to a government COVID treatment hospital for an exam. They actually called me on the phone, told me I have 24 hours to get to a treatment hospital or someone from civil defense would come and get me. Alrighty then. So I went down Friday afternoon, and the place was set up for literally hundreds and hundreds of patients, and I believe I was the only person there over 50 getting checked out. So, not very many people testing positive here. It's been in the hundreds, and this is a country of 10 million. So not everybody's either reporting it or it's truly at a very, very low level, and I just happened to finally luck out. So I was mildly concerned because there was a chance I could have been admitted to their COVID hospital if they felt I needed to be observed. So they did a blood pressure check, a chest x-ray, and they even did a CT scan because they said they found an anomaly in my lungs. And it turned out to be scar tissue is what it ended up being. So from something that happened a long time ago. And he kept asking me if I smoked. And I kept telling him, no, I don't smoke. He must have asked me like 7 times. So it probably looks like scar tissue from smoking. So anyways, they basically, wrote me up a little slip, prescribed me a bunch of drugs, most of which I'm not going to take because it's like vitamin C, vitamin D, allergy pills, mouthwash, stuff I already have and I've already been taking. Thank you very much. I was in and out of there in under an hour. The best part is they Ubered me home. Who does that? They put me in a nice Uber, and away I went. So 3 weeks ago, I would have missed another week of work because they had a 10-day quarantine. But under the new guidelines, I'll be back to work on Monday if I'm showing those symptoms, which I am not. So everybody asks, where'd you get the COVID? Who knows? Heck, everybody I've asked, they rarely know where they think they've got it. I think I had it latent in my system until it decided to manifest itself on its own timeline. All right, enough about COVID. Nathaniel's doing well at Canadian International School. I attended an open house and met some of his teachers there. I talked to more teachers of his in 2 hours at Canadian International than I did in 2 years at his middle school back home. And that's another podcast for another day. Let's just say we're very happy with our decision to send him to school here. It's world class, and they rate one of the highest quality schools in the region. So we're very happy with that. All right, moving on to the weather. Well, it is now to the point where it's cool enough in the mornings to go out and do stuff. The humidity has also pretty much disappeared too. But it's probably not cool enough yet to camp overnight. But the thing is just like in the past few days, the temps have kicked up. And they've been hitting 100, and they hit 100 on Friday, and they may do so today. I'm looking at the thermometer. It says it's 94 degrees, and it's not even noon. So it's probably going to hit 100 today. But it's dry outside, so it's a dry heat. Good thing I'm in quarantine. I'm just waiting it out, and hopefully the weather will get a little cooler, and I can spend more time outside in the mornings doing bird watching and things like that. Nate and I did make a field trip in the past month out to the Abu Dhabi Falcon Hospital. This hospital was set up by the country's founder, Sheikh Zayed, as a treatment facility for 3 species of falcons used in the sport of falconry here. That's the Saker, which is S-A-K-R, the peregrine falcon, and the gyrfalcon, G-Y-R-F-A-L-C-O-N. Go ahead and Google those for kicks and giggles. Today it serves all birds, and it is also an animal shelter for dogs and cats. The facility is only open for tours, and from what I could tell, we were the very first tour since they stopped doing them when COVID hit 2.5 years ago. So that was pretty cool, being on the first tour in a long time. For the most part, this Falcon Hospital is where the falconers bring their birds for routine checkups. Of course, there's a surgery suite and other facilities for more complicated procedures, but from what I could tell, it's mostly for routine maintenance. We were able to watch up close and personal veterinary staff do a routine checkup on a falcon. And I'll be posting a video of the procedure on my YouTube channel and linking to my various social media channels as well, so you can watch it. It was pretty cool. The really impressive thing about falcons is that, and you'll notice in my photos and videos, that they're very chill. And of course that is due to them wearing a little helmet which shields their eyes. And they can't see squat. So they have nothing to react to. And the room we were in had about 30 falcons neatly arranged and perched waiting for their turn to be checked out. And they just kind of just sat there. It's pretty cool. We were also brought to a molting facility, which is, it's probably a 50 by 50 building with a peak ceiling and many perches. And it was mostly falcons sitting around, molting, and some of them couldn't fly. And again, they were very chill, just sitting there watching us silly humans come and go. Our guide said there are upwards of 60,000 falcons used in the sport of falconry in the UAE. And these falcons, the vast majority, if not all of them, are captive bred. So in Michigan, where falconry is legal, you actually go out and catch a bird, and you have to have permits and all kinds of permissions. Here, they're being captive bred, and then they become basically members of the family, and they are used in falconry. But the thing is, it's against the law to use them for hunting game in the country of UAE. So falconers travel regionally where it's legal to hunt. The coolest thing is that each falcon, since they treat them as a member of their family, they have this is just crazy. Each falcon has a legit passport that identifies the bird. If they're microchipped, which most of them are, shows the microchip number. It shows in there, who owns the falcon, and it looks just like a regular UAE passport. So they are treated like family here. So that is pretty cool. And they take very good care of their falcons here as well. So if you do come and visit me, we're going to Falcon Hospital because it was just awesome. The other thing Nathaniel and I did is we went to the International Hunting and Equestrian Exposition, which happens to be Asia and Africa's largest outdoor trade show. There are falcons, salukis, huburas, horses, camels, crazy sport utility vehicles, thousands and thousands and thousands of knives, and even guns. Lots of crazy rifles of all sorts and kinds, things that I am not so sure they're legal in the United States. So if you've ever been to a gun and knife show in the States, it's usually a private individual selling the guns, and they have a table or even a booth, and they pack their booth with every single gun they have. So when you look through the facility, it looks like there's literally tens of thousands of rifles and guns and handguns laying around. Well, you're kind of like a military armory, really. Here in the UAE, this event, the vendors are companies. And they have these elaborate displays with lasers and lights and all kinds of stuff. They also show off a lot of historical and antique firearms, but they don't put out every single firearm. So the place actually looks rather empty. Instead, what they do is they have a display model, and then the gun they actually sell you is in the back somewhere. And contrary to what you may have heard, an expat like myself, I can buy a gun here. I just can't possess it. It has to be shipped home. And if I wanted to purchase one, I'd have to jump through some hoops, but since I'm from a country where it's legal, it's pretty easy for me to buy one. I just have to get some paperwork in order. For Emiratis, they can own up to 5 firearms, and the only opportunity for them to purchase firearms is at this event. So, as you can imagine, the place was packed, and I mean packed, with Emiratis looking at guns. It was probably 95% locals at this trade show, not very many expats there as well. Oh, and then there's the camping gear. Camping here is nothing like back home. Everything here is bigger and heavier and bolder. The tents are massive, usually made of canvas and cotton. They have all kinds of furniture, rugs, grills, coolers. Even the sleeping bags are large and heavy. The stuff looks nothing like what we have in the States. Minimalist and lightweight gear is not a thing here. So, go to my Tom's Worldly Adventures site for photos and videos of both. That's Facebook and YouTube. I'll be uploading that stuff here, hopefully today and or tomorrow, depending on how much fun I'm having with technology. So, Nathaniel and I are planning other adventures, like camping and hiking, and our plan is to visit all the different Emirates this winter. Speaking of winter, I saw it snowed in the Upper Peninsula last week. And speaking of winter, it's looking likely that Nathaniel and I will be coming home for his winter break, which is the last 3 weeks of December. And when I say home, I mean spending about a week in Michigan, and I want to go someplace warm like southern Texas, maybe to visit the in-laws, because, not crazy as snow anymore. I love this warm weather. Anyways, stay tuned for that, and I'll tell you more about our travels and such as they take place and any of our other shenanigans. Hey, thanks again to my friend Adam Main for the use of his music. Follow my shenanigans on social media. Facebook, Tom Funk's Worldly Adventures. Instagram and TikTok I have. It's Tom's Worldly Adventures. YouTube is also Tom's Worldly Adventures. And I'm on a bunch of other stuff, but those will be the ones that I'll mention now. Hey, someone please send me a question. I didn't get one for this podcast. I looked through all my stuff and I didn't really find a question that anybody asked. So please do. I'm happy to answer anything for you. Hey, stay tuned for some bonus material at the end of this. The music will fade out, and give it a few seconds, and then I have some bonus material for you. All right, guys. Thanks for listening, and we will see you later. Stay tuned for bonus material. All right, welcome back for some bonus material. So some of you threatened to come and visit me, and I was kind of going through some various blogs and things that I was referencing before I moved here. And there's really two paths you take when you read about this stuff. One is, what to expect if you live here. What are some, traditions? What are some do's and don'ts when you live here? And then there are, same thing, do's and don'ts and expectations if you are just traveling and visiting. Now, I've covered a lot of the stuff about living here, and now that I've been here for a while, I can share with you some, if you travel here, these are some things that you may not know or didn't, maybe to expect, so on and so forth. So let's just get going, okay? So the first thing is that get out of your head that the United States is the best in everything. I can tell you it's not. If you fly out of LaGuardia Airport and you land in Dubai, you'll know what I mean. That we're not the best in everything. Our airports suck, okay? I'm telling you, airports here are much nicer. The second thing is, you can get practically anywhere using public transportation. So don't think you have to rent a car here. You don't. You can get, I'm telling you, there's an app, and I want you to check it out. It's called Rome to Rio. And it's a public transportation app that works internationally. So you plug in Rome, Italy, and you type in Rio de Janeiro, and it will show you how to get there using public transportation. English here in the country, in the region, even in Europe, it's spoken everywhere. If you're traveling as a tourist and you're going to tourist-type places, hotels, restaurants, amusement parks, there's going to be very little problem speaking English. So, don't let that, fact that us Americans refuse to learn another language keep you from coming here and enjoying because, think about it, Italy. Italy is a country where they speak Italian. It is the only country where they speak Italian. So they don't expect you to come and know Italian. So they allow them know English, and English has become the international language. So keep that in mind. Here in the UAE, all religions are respected. So if you're Jewish, if you're Muslim, if you're Christian, you're Catholic, you're Baptist, whatever, they are all respected. You can walk freely, worship freely in your places of worship. There's I see Hasidic Jews walking around here in a Muslim country. It's accepted. It's okay. So don't think that they're being discriminated against or anything like that. Another thing is tipping is not a thing. Us Americans, we tip. Every opportunity we get, we tip. Here, some folks, they just look at you like, why are you handing me this money? Take this money back. If you see an opportunity to tip, it'll be given to you in an app or something like that. It'll ask you, hey, do you want to tip? The only real things that I tip here are delivery guys and taxi drivers because there's no expectation otherwise. Tipping, keep that in mind. I remember when I stayed in the hotel here, I handed the dudes money who were cleaning my room, and they handed it right back. So, don't think you have to tip every single little thing. And for you wisecrackers, American humor is lost on pretty much everybody here. So don't even try being funny, because it's not that you're going to insult anybody. They're just not going to get your joke. So American humor, don't even try. Food. You're going to see eggs served as a meal for lunches and dinners, and not so much at breakfast. I guess eggs is an American thing at breakfast. And rice here is a meal. When I go to lunch, these guys from these Eastern countries, they load up on rice. I look at them and I go, do you have a hollow leg? But rice is a meal here. So you'll see, like in a buffet, you'll see 3 or 4 different types of rice. Don't expect sweet stuff at breakfast, like donuts and crepes and croissants and stuff like that. You'll see salads, you'll see like full meals, you'll see beans, things like that. So don't be surprised if you're at a hotel and you don't see sweets. Salad is also a meal here. It's not a side. So we're used to being an appetizer, but it's a meal here. Soup is also a meal here. And just some interesting food things here. So, let's see. Drinking water, ice and water. Don't expect free bottled water everywhere you go. You're going to pay for it. The only place I got free water is when I stayed in a hotel. And that was at my room. They gave me 2 bottles a day. And ice, you're not going to see an ice machine. The only place I see ice machines are in kind of the food courts, but at restaurants, in the hotels, at work, there's just no ice. Things are served cold, but they don't decant them and put ice in them. So you go to a restaurant, you ask for ice water, they're going to look at you funny. They'll give you a cold bottle of water, but ice is not a thing here. And if they do give you ice, they're going to give you like 1 cube. So that's been a weird one for me, is I just don't see ice anywhere. And for the love of everything holy, don't dress like a slob. This is a very conservative country. Just look at how the men and women are dressed here that live here. If you're going to be in a very touristy area, you can get away with, shorts and a t-shirt, but don't show your butt cheeks, and, leave the tank tops at home. Dress nicely when you're away from the tourist areas. When you go to dinner at the, hotel, going to the swimming pool is one thing, but, anytime I go downtown, I wear pants, I wear a polo shirt, and I rarely see anybody dressed like a slob. So, there's 2 cultures here that I see that dress like slobs, and one's Americans, and I'm not going to mention the other one. So it's something to be respectful and be understanding, and just look nice. You're on vacation, just do that. So there you go. There's some bonus material for you if you come and travel and see me. There you go. So I will lead out with a little Anna Main, and thanks for listening, and we'll see you again, and take care.